The Wise Woman Awakening course came into being after, much nudging from spirit and the goddess for me, over the last year to bring service and offerings, tools, practices, ways to support women on their healing journeys, and more outside of doing the one-on-one and work in person. And of course, then the whole COVID thing really prompted me to get going with it, to be of service in this way. So the course, I'm going to talk about some basic information about the course, and then I really want to talk about archetypes, because working with archetypes is woven throughout the course modules. So, and some people may or may not have a sense of what an archetype is and how that can help with your healing, or why they're important. So I will give time to that, and I'm going to try to keep to time, to 15 to 20 minutes. My IG live last week went quite a bit longer, but people kept showing up and I wasn't sure how to check my time, but now I know I'm safe to check my time on my phone. Okay, so the Wise Woman course is set up in 13 modules following the 13 lunar cycle, that in line with that, honoring and reclaiming that sacred number 13, very feminine number, the divine feminine number. And it's for people, for women who have a love and already devoted to self-inquiry and their own self-healing, and really interested in mindset exploration and energy and things like that, you're already steeped in that. This course is for you. It's also for those of you out there who are very new to their self-inquiry, or maybe you've stepped in and out of exploring things around healing and your own personal growth or changes that you'd like to have, but there hasn't been a consistent flow for you. This course is also for you. So for those of you who are maybe relatively new to their path, or just haven't had the time, or maybe felt like you had an avenue or a way to explore more concretely, this course is set up so that there's 13 modules. There is a structure so that you can follow step by step and go through that. There's a rhythm. So there's rhythms in the courses, in the modules, so there's repetition, so things become familiar, so that, if you're a person that needs that, you have that already there, so that that consistency is there. However, each module has its own unique theme, and you still have choice within it to do all of the practices or just a couple of them, and how you do them is also, there is that feminine fluidity to it that you can choose. So for those of you that want and need that structure and guidance, it's there. Then for those of you who maybe, you're well versed in exploring yourself and healing practices and things like that, then you may be more inclined to take a specific module with a theme you want to dive deeper into, or one of the practices, the body-based practices, that you're going to work with that consistently, specifically, until you feel it's served the purpose for you, that you've gained what you were hoping for, or gained what you didn't know you needed. And then you might go back in and pick something else. So it's multi-purpose that way, and that was intentional, because even, for myself, I can still gain a lot from doing these practices, even though I've been on my journey for a while. And I'd also wanted it to be accessible for those that maybe this is a starting point. So that was one big intention. And then I also, throughout the course, it's holistic in the sense that we're going to be working with the mental, with the mind, with the mental body, belief systems, mindset stuff, but also there's somatic based and body based practices. So we're working with the mind, the body, the etheric aspect of ourselves, the energy systems, and you're going to be working with your spirit, your heart, your goddess self, That's the deeper inner wise woman. So it's not going to be just doing some journaling work and then going off. It's like the practices that are there that you can choose to do in the videos, and in the divination work with the oracle cards and things like that. It's very much going to be an embodied experience. So we want it to be something that is experienced quite literally in the body, as well as through the mental processes, because that provides, hi Carol, hi Barbara, it provides more potency and helps the integration. If we're just processing things with the mental body, that's much more of a linear process, and we want this to be fluid and feminine and embodied and more creative and sensory experience. That gives us the integration and the healing potential even more. So woven throughout all of this is information that helps you keep connecting to goddess spirituality and the divine feminine. And at the very beginning of the course, there's some foundational information for you about the divine feminine. What is that? What are sort of the qualities and principles connected to that? Goddess spirituality and the chakras. Like, so what are the basic informations around that are going to be helpful for you to know? There's charts in each module. So there's lots of reference material that you can keep going back to when you have a question about it. And I've also included some suggestions on how you might navigate the course. So on a weekly basis versus a monthly basis, or what happens if you bump into a topic that, is a little, or a theme that you need a little more support with, that sort of thing. So those suggestions are in there as well. Each module has journaling, has affirmation work, is inviting meditation with music as well. There's a Spotify list that goes and accompanies the whole course. And these songs have been specifically chosen to fit the theme. So each chakra, each center of the energy body has a theme connected to an element, an earth element. And so we're also connecting to the divine mother, the mother earth mother, through the modules by connecting to those chakra elements, and the songs connect to that. So you might meditate with your affirmations. You might simply sit and meditate with the mudra that I also share and teach you, and simply listen to the music to embody the essence and the energy of the music. Music is enormously healing, and it has its own momentum that, coming in with awareness and conscious choice and intention, those practices, each of these types of practices, as I'm giving this example, increase your connection to the sacredness inside of you and the sacredness all around you, which is part of this awakening, our essence, our inner wise woman essence, our goddess essence, our spiritual essence. So I wanted that to be a constant invitation throughout the course. So there's journaling, affirmation work, working then with oracle decks to support the themes that you're working on. And then it's really your choice whether you stay with that module for a few days, a couple weeks, a month, and the practices that go with it. That will be up to you. And I want that to be your choice. And I want you to start trusting and feeling into what you need, what you're avoiding, what you're getting triggered by, and what you need to have better balance with. Are you somebody who tends to push and do things just because it's written there, and maybe it's not what you need that day? And so that type of thing. So part of tuning into your inner wise woman and your knowing is through the sensing body. And so I'm going to segue into the archetype piece. So each of the modules has a theme that takes you through the root chakra through to the crown. And then at the very end, there's a celebratory module that I've included, a very detailed ceremony that you can follow through with at the end if you wish, and some extra added audio and video, some special practices that were my personal practices that I'm sharing with you to have as your own. Through each of these modules, the journaling work. Hi guys. I just see a few other folks popping on. Nice to see you. So the journaling work does include working with archetypes. So what the heck is an archetype? Some of you may already know what an archetype is. And if you don't, an archetype is a typical example like of a person that represents a universal pattern in our human nature or in our human experience. It's a universal caricature, let's say. So archetypes, when you're reading a novel or you're reading a real life story, you're relating to the characters in that story, and most or some of them will fit into sort of an archetype. For example, the hero, the mother, the villain, the martyr, the empress, right? These are archetypes, and these there are universal archetypes, and there are a multitude of them. They became made popular or popularized through Carl Jung's work in psychology and energy medicine. However, our archetypes are something that live in our own psyche, in our own unconscious state. And so when we're reading that story or someone's telling us about an experience, we are unconsciously relating and responding to those archetypes. We're having an automatic response to it based on our own belief system, on our own operating system, the conscious part and the unconscious part. And that causes us to think and move and act in then specific ways. So working with archetypes, how it helps us is that it helps us uncover sort of some of our imprinting in our psychology, in our psyche. Excuse me. And how this imprinting that comes in, like how we relate to an archetype of the hero or the mother or the martyr. This imprinting comes in through our childhood experiences. It comes in through our social and cultural influences through our life. It also can come through our past life experiences that we're carrying that are still resonant with us. So when we're working with archetypes, we are drawing out of the unconscious some of this information that's been influencing our choices and our mindset that may or may not have been helpful, but at least it will help us gain an understanding of ourselves better, and then we can work with it. So for each journaling exercise in the module, I invite you to do what I call an archetype embodiment. So I have written out, you have there a descriptor of the archetypes related to the module. And then you're invited to actually take that and embody it. Feel it, feel that archetype, and then your questions are going to be related to that you're going to journal with. And this is going to give you further information about your own self and how you can work with whatever's coming up that you're discovering in a more helpful and empowered or loving way. So I wanted to explain a little bit more about that. I just want to make sure, excuse me, I don't know if there's any questions out there, folks. Hey, Stephanie, nice that you're popping on. Let me just see. Yeah, so these archetypes really help you gain insight into your own workings of your mind and your somatic responses and triggers to things. So for example, just one last thing I'll say there is that, so if we were together in a circle and I asked one of you to come over and become the hero and to behave as the hero, and another person to show up as the villain, because a lot of archetypes have a light and shadow quality to them, so they have those polar expressions, and so we're exploring that as well. So if you were showing up as the hero, your stance, your tone of voice, your body language, your facial expressions, what you say and how you say it, you would show me that in a very much like a hero-like way. Similarly, you would embody a villain in that way. Your posture would be different, your voice, your eyes, everything would be different. So using archetypes as a way to explore our own relationship with these qualities, these characteristics, these behaviors gives us insight into how we are aligned or not with these qualities, helps us to really gain insight and understanding about why we react and respond the way we do to certain things. And then, we can work with it once we're more aware of it. So I hope that's helpful. Hi, Norma. I'm going to wave to a few people. Excuse me if I haven't, I'm going to wave to you guys all now because I'm so new to this, so please bear with me. Okay. So that's one piece of that I wanted to share because a lot of people aren't really familiar with archetypes. So the another really great aspect to this course is that like I said, it has a very feminine essence to it, and I'm with you through it all, through the videos, and encourage you to really see it as a sisterhood, that as you are exploring it yourself, you are connecting to the larger web of women who are rising and who are learning how to love themselves again, or maybe for the first time, or embracing their spirituality and their goddess nature more. And so this is adding to the healing of the whole planet, because we are needing more of this feminine energy to return and help bring back a balance that has been quite significantly out for a long time. So your work on yourself is helping to heal your communities, your family, the globe. It's going to influence things in a ripple out effect that you won't even really be able to appreciate probably fully the profoundness of that. And so that knowing the way I've also invited some of the work with the body, mudras, and there's some chants in there. There's even the invitation to start. I've created the Wise Woman vow that we take together, that the intention is that you are not alone, even if you're doing this coursework on your own, that you are being held in a sacred sisterhood and circle of love and empowerment from other women. That and I'm just getting my spirit bumps as I'm saying that, because this type of work, personal healing work, it doesn't stay within our old concepts of time and space. We are connected through the etheric realm, and especially when there's an intention to feel that support and accept it and receive it, then you will. So I don't know if there's any questions that folks have here while you're still on. The course you have for your lifetime, and I will be adding to it. And once you are own the course, whatever new additions come to it, you will simply receive. I have already a list of inspirations of things that I want to include for the future, once I have the time to add those in. And, I have other inspirations about how down the road, once things are more open, that there may be retreats and things that will be, exclusive to the women who've taken this course to come together and explore further together. So those sorts of things are already percolating within me. If this feels like very much a starting point of bringing this type of experience to women. And I wanted it to be very modular in the sense that, you can, according to your own time, your own convenience, your own needs, you can weave in and out of it, and you won't feel like you've missed something. It is helpful to do those foundational readings at the beginning, but they're there to keep going back to, and there's nothing that's more than a couple of pages. So you're not going to feel like, oh my God, I've got 20 pages to read and it's so much to digest. No, I've given you enough Oh, wonderful, Jill. Yeah. Do you need to be connected to internet to use it? Great question, Tara. So I have a question. Do you need to be connected to the internet to do the course? No, not you do if you haven't downloaded all the workbooks. But if you've got the workbooks, then you can do the practices and the journaling and even follow the affirmation work and the oracle work and things like that on your own. However, you do need the internet access or the Wi-Fi access to download the audios and the videos and the workbook. So once you've downloaded everything, then you've got it all on whatever devices you have. So then you can do it anywhere at any time. So once you've got it, then if you're going to be out in a cabin somewhere and you don't have Wi-Fi but you have electricity, you've got those things downloaded. So you just have to be sure you've got it downloaded when you have access. So then you've got it. And on that note, you can download just one module and those aspects, or you can download it all. You can do the whole file. So that and download all the audios and videos and just organize it in your own system, and then you've got it. So you don't have to, you're not limited to like, once you finish module 1, you can't access module 2. It's not like that. You have access to everything. Thank you for that question, Tara. That was really great. And Jill, yes, your oracle cards are coming. Great. So yes, one thing that is, it's recommended that you have it because it is part of a fun way to work with your intuition and divination is to have an oracle or a tarot deck. So, and to treat yourself to something like that and really tune in intuitively to which one catches your eye. If you don't have one, it's a beautiful, playful, and also reverent thing to gift yourself. So Jill was just sharing she has got hers on order and they're coming. So just on that note, Jill, don't worry about having the oracle cards necessarily for Thursday. Our circles and our ceremony, we won't necessarily use the cards then, but you'll need them for the start of the course once it's, when it is live and if you want to dive into it on that day, then yeah, it would be helpful to have them, but not for the bonus circle that we're going to have. So let's just see if there's any other questions. So I'm going to wave to these lovelies they're coming on. So I'm going to check the time, folks. So yeah, so it's 20, almost 25 after. Hello. So I've talked for 25 minutes already about the course, just kind of going through who it's intended for and the flavor, the vibe, the energy of it, and about archetypes. So I may do just a quick recap for you, but then I'll invite you to go back and watch the video from the beginning so that once it's posted, so that you can hear all that. So the Wise Woman Awakening course is available. Once you've got it, you have it forever. So you can weave in and out of it as you wish. The course is designed to support both women who are already on their sort of personal growth exploration, really already exploring all kinds of different healing practices and healing work, and so enjoy self-inquiry and learning about themselves. Hi, Val. Oh, hi. Hi, Juanita. So nice to see you guys all popping on. Thank you for showing up. I really appreciate it. So the course is for those of you who are already there, because then you can just jump in and out where you feel more called to. But the course is also designed in a way to serve those of you who like this whole idea of exploring your spiritual side, or what the heck goddess energy is, or self-inquiry, like if that's relatively new for you. I've provided everything for you to hold your hand through every step, so there's structure and guidance and a rhythm, so there's repetition, so things will be easy to follow once you get into the rhythm. And it's really encouraging that consistency. Oftentimes when we're new to something, we can feel a bit intimidated by it, and we need that nudge of consistency. And so that's set up there so that you can flow through and set it, put it in your diary. These are my days for this. And really, if you're going from start to finish in a module, doing the journaling, doing the affirmation work, sitting to do a bit of meditation and working with your oracle deck, probably 2 hours would be sufficient time. However, that's going to be really variable, because for some of you, you might really take those journaling exercises to a whole another level than someone else. And they may want to sit, oh, hi, Bradine. They may want to sit and, spend a little bit more time listening just to the music that day and doing the mudra and feeling held by the music, right? Because the music, there's a Spotify list that accompanies every module, and they're specifically chosen to nurture these aspects of the earth energy and that are connected to the chakras, the themes of the course, and to the feminine. So you might just really need that nourishment that day and don't feel like you have the mental focus to do the journaling, and that's okay. You could leave that till another day and just sit and listen to the piece of music, or lay down and let it just wash over you and really serve you that way. So that, to me, is the feminine fluid way of healing, and it's not linear, it's spiralic, so that today you're going to need one thing, tomorrow it's going to be something else, and we're really unlearning this pattern of having to follow step A to step B to step C, but also having a structure that helps us feel safe and helps us build confidence in how to explore these things and develop our confidence and capacity on how we can actually work with ourselves with some support and guidance, and start to then discover what we can sort of work with on our own, what we might want some extra support. Hey, Christine. So I wanted it to be serve the feminine way of healing and the feminine way of learning. That each and every one of you is unique. So are our men. But this really being designed for women, to serve you, to connect to your own inner wisdom, to start to trust and be able to read your body and trust your intuition, to strengthen it, to build your confidence. And self-love and empowerment is woven throughout the whole thing as well. Because when we really tap into the divine feminine, that is both the tender, loving, resourceful, resilient nature combined with the wild and fierce nature of the feminine. So we are unlearning and unpatterning at this time. It's a great time of change and dismantling of old paradigms of the patriarchy, and anything that's been active inside of us as part of that is in the old model, in the old systems, is also crumbling. And that deeper part, so many women that I work with, and so many women that are just showing up in the world, are allowing themselves to follow and listen, that yearning from inside to discover what does it really mean to be a woman and a wise woman, and what is the goddess, and how does the goddess flow through me, and how do I have a relationship with that. So this is a course to help you tap into those things and have practical, accessible tools and practices. And the journaling is not just a way to get answers, but it is a way to get answers and understanding. But the intention behind it is to help you evolve the way you ask questions of yourself, the way you ask, how you frame your inquiry about challenges, about your feelings, about your triggers, about what lights you up, to help you evolve your language and your way of exploring your inner world and your inner workings. So in that way, it serves you forever, because you may have a module, once you've worked through the theme, you feel complete with it. But those particular questions, you could bring in another theme or another topic, like something else that's going on in your life. Hey, hi, Andrew. That you, something else that's going on, that those questions will really serve the same thing. So it could be something that's fear-based, right? And it was fear-based around finances. But now the fear is coming up around a relationship. So you might use those exact same questions for that situation and see what comes through for you. And then how you can reframe and course correct what your choices might have been leaning towards that you knew weren't serving you. It was taking you down the garden path and you could feel it. And so you're going to use the questions that way. So this is another reason I designed it the way I did, so that it's not, I've done this one, tick, 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 tick. I've completed the course. Here's my certificate. Yay, I'm done. No, that these are ways of consciousness raising experiences and intuitive strengthening experiences, so that you have this part of you evolving and integrating forever. And then if you get off your path and, you know, life just takes you for a ride for a while, you have something to come back to and go, okay, right, I got to get myself back in the game here. And then you've got it right there to work with. And again, once you're familiar with the different aspects of the course, you might know that, okay, again, the music isn't doing it for me, but I really need to work through this process. So I'm going to do the journaling. And you don't have to have a fancy journal. If you've got everything downloaded and you're off somewhere and you're at a family event and shit's hitting the fan and you're getting triggered all over the place, if you've got some paper in your glove box and you've got that stuff downloaded to your phone, you can go, okay, I'm going to give myself permission to go off. You know, I'm separating myself because this isn't going well, and I'm going to go and work on this for a little bit. Help myself work through it. I'm going to lean into my body and see what's coming up. So the course is meant to serve you in the immediate experience that you're working through, but it's meant to serve you long term.